Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm in my pajams, and we are going to do an Antimlm horror story video, and I'm going to read some from Reddit. So like, comment, subscribe if you'd like to see some more of this. Let me know below. And I just wanted to say thank you guys for watching. I truly appreciate it. And disclaimer, any of these stories that I read or speak about or anything like that, I'm not going to say any names. I'm not even going to post them right here. I'm just going to read them straight from my phone and go from there, because I don't want you all personally attacking any of these people or any of the people that they are surrounded by. So thanks for watching. Let's get into this video. Alright guys, so the first story is a Mary Kay story. And I found this one as I was scrolling through, and it was very interesting. It's very long, so we're just going to go through it. Let's get ready. So, worst party of my life. Several years ago, a good friend of mine, let's call her Sarah, invited me and some other friends over for a pampering session makeover party that a woman had cold called her to say she'd won. Yes, I know, red flags galore. In my defense, Sarah's invite was short on details, and I didn't know much about MLMs then. So I went thinking it'd be fun. It'd be a fun night of playing with makeup and drinking with friends. Great. Spoiler alert. It's not. Alright, so I got there a bit late, not thinking it'd be a big deal, but it turns out the party hostess, an older blonde woman whose name I don't remember, but was probably something like Judith or whatever, was waiting impatiently for everyone to arrive to formally kick off the party the way all normal parties get started, by firing up the iPad and making us watch an inspirational video about the benevolent Mary Kay. We were shushed if we tried to talk at all during the video and subsequent presentation. Oh my word. Listen, you got out of school for a reason, so that the teacher wouldn't yell at you if you were talking in class. That's what it reminds me of, sorry. It didn't take long to realize that what a horror show that night was going to be. For the makeovers, we were given a few tiny samples that we had to apply ourselves. Sarah had gotten wine for the night, and Judith instructed us not to drink during the makeover, which seems counterintuitive to getting us to buy stuff, and for some terrible reason we actually obeyed. The night proceeded with games that were just grossly transparent attempts at selling more products. Deal or no deal? Oh god, I didn't even have to begin reading past deal or no deal, and I'm like, oh crap, great, here we go. Alright, so deal or no deal. Going around in a circle, each of us was asked individually if we would host our own party. If more than half of us said yes, Sarah would get some random product. It was incredibly cringy to watch each woman being out on the spot and pressured by Judith to agree so that Sarah would get a nice gift. Dude, that's like blackmail. What? They're nice, so a few of them agreed, though it was apparent from their hesitation and body language that they didn't want to. I was last to be asked. 3 had said yes and 3 had said no, so I was the tiebreaker, and I said a firm no, while Judith tried to pressure me to change my mind because it all came down to me whether Sarah would get this incredible gift. Meanwhile, Sarah's subtly... Okay, I just read it a little farther ahead while I was doing this, but Sarah subtly shaking her head at me, indicating she doesn't even want it. If someone is putting me in an uncomfortable situation like this, I really have no qualms making it awkward back. So I continued to say no, probably 3 or 4 more times, until Judith had finally dropped it and lamented that it was my fault Sarah wouldn't get such a nice prize. Girl, oh my gosh, thank you. That just made my night, just thinking about that. Holy crap, that just, the look on her face would have been priceless. Thank you for that. There's more. Right or left, which I've never heard of the game Right or Left, so this should be interesting. Then Judith whips out a sheet of paper and another sample product for a game called Right or Left. She proceeds to read ham-fisted Mary Kay marketing script, and every time she says left or right, the product is passed in that direction. Okay. Whoever has it in the end wins. The script was corny, lines along the lines of, with Mary Kay, you get an incredible discount on your products. It isn't like a discount, right? What will you do with all your leftover money? Guess who won, guys? It was me, Judith. Sorry, I had to, 1, attempt to center myself in the video, and 2, I needed a drink because we're getting spicy up in this bitch. But, excuse that. I'm trying to be good and not call things a V-word. I'm getting a little bit better. I've only used the word once so far, even reading this. But we left off with Right or Left. Yeah, so we're going into Name Game. So I don't think I've even played anything that was called the Name Game either, that I know of. But then again, never really did any of this. So this is kind of a new, like, cliff we're jumping off on here, because I don't know a lot of this stuff. The MLMs I was in, we didn't have this kind of stuff. So, Name Game. We were given sheets of paper and told to get out our phones and write down the phone numbers of female friends and family members. Whoever wrote the most would win. Oh, no. That is terrible. That is terrible. Whoever wrote the most would win some random product they didn't want. Woo! This is my god person. Everyone was clearly feeling uncomfortable about this, obviously not wanting to subject new people to this insanity, but felt like they had to and wrote some names. At this point, I couldn't believe how the night was going, and I just sat there with my blank sheet and said I wouldn't be filling it out. This is also where it became clear how Sarah had won the party in the first place. Someone who had her number must have put her contact info on the sheet. What was so gross about these games was how they took advantage of attendees' people-pleasing tendencies to pressure them to agree to things they clearly felt uncomfortable with. The night ended with each attendee being brought into a separate room, one-on-one with Judith, so she could try to recruit us into her downline and take product orders. So I've actually heard in different videos that I've watched that a lot of Mary Kay people do this. Like, they take each person one-on-one into a room away from other people to try to talk them into buying products or becoming a part of their downline or something like that, which is not okay. That is gross, first off. And second, that is like peer pressuring people that don't want to be peer pressured. Don't do that. That is ugly and gross. Please don't do that anymore. Like, stop. I ordered nothing. A few girls ordered some products because they felt bad, but it definitely wasn't a very fruitful night for her. I ended up on Pink Truth the next day reading all about Mary Kay, and eventually found this sub, which is the Reddit that I'm reading through. So that was the first story that I found. So this is crazy and so cringy because, like, what makes you guys think, what, obviously, since I was in MLM before, but even when I was in the MLM that I was in, I didn't, like, I was very uncomfortable doing this. I was very uncomfortable making my 100 sheet on my, writing down people and contacting people and things like that. I was so totally uncomfortable with that. And the fact that people can be comfortable with this and, like, get through this cringe to host a party and then just call up people and say, hey, you won this, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, stop. That is so bad. Like, stop it. But yeah, so there was that story. Alright, so here's another one that would be a little bit on my level. This was actually posted over a year ago, and wow. It says, I worked for this MLM for 2 years and have severe anxiety problems after coming out of it. So as a person that struggles with anxiety and depression, things like that, I know some of the feelings that come along with leaving an MLM and feeling bad about leaving an MLM and having it used against you and that kind of thing. So yeah, ignore that. I had to get ready for this because I know I'm gonna get super upset at some point in this story. But this is a very long MLM story that will likely take too much time to post all at once. So, so we probably won't have the full story, but we'll have a good bit of the story, and I'm going to try to find the rest of the story to put in another video. For privacy reasons, I won't name the MLM or the people involved, for now at least. This person that's posting is afraid that, that they will come after them. And I totally get that, because a lot of them are super predatory in this way, and we don't want that. We want you to get out safely, and we want you to feel okay about getting out. We don't want you thinking, these girls are just going to, whatever you're thinking. You're much better away from it. Let me just tell you that right now. You are so much better without it. So, end of the story. When I was 20, I had just moved to a new city on the West Coast. At this time, I was looking for work opportunities in entertainment, as that was my desired career field. To add in advance, I already had experience doing different MLMs prior to my move, Amway, but never went into meetings and didn't put much effort into it. Did it from 16, 18, or 19 with family. I mentioned that to say that I'm familiar with an MLM, but at the same time, I wasn't against it at all. So a year into living in the new city, I finally got into contact with the CEO of a company I had been interested in working with for about 2 years at that point. I was super excited to be in contact with this guy. Unlike many MLMers who lie about having a good life, this guy had it. He ran an entertainment company, had celebrity friends, and was a former model himself, still young, handsome, and charismatic. Basically an ideal MLM boss who could easily make you believe that his wealth and lifestyle came from the MLM. We communicated over Facebook and phone call for a while, and me working with his entertainment company and his side business, Q, Introduction to MLM. Now, as I said, I was already familiar with the business model. So he didn't really have to fool me into joining because I was aware what it was. He did, however, lie to many future recruits, including my friends, to get them to join. Shortly after getting into contact with him, he moved to the city I was living in, and we finally met in person. That's not creepy at all. Like, why did he move to the city that you are at? Like, why did he do that? I ended up spending multiple days a week with this guy every week. Not long into him being in the city, we ended up going to weekly meetings for our MLM on Saturdays, and I think Tuesdays, plus our many almost daily coffee shop meetings and constant team calls or DMs over Facebook with other members of the MLM. I was in college at the time and it became the center of my life, along with working events for this entertainment company. Nothing else mattered because he told me we would succeed and that someday all of us on the ever-growing team would be rich together. No. Where this MLM differed, at least in our team, from many others, was the entertainment aspect, being able to entice people in with promises of being backstage and meeting their favorite artist if they did well in the MLM. That and the team of attractive men my upline CEO guy had formed to lure in women. No. He'd have us telling fangirls that if they joined, they got to work backstage, and that if they did well, he'd take them to meet or even have dinner with certain celebrities. You lying sack of crap. Oh my word. So a lot of people joined, even people who gave no F's about MLM and probably thought it was a scam. He got many people with his celebrity promises. Funnily, I like that word. Even though he never did follow through with most of his promises to people. It's crazy when I think back to all of it now. It honestly makes me sick to my stomach. But the time me and the others on the team thought he was practically a god. Don't ever think that. I'm sorry, just don't ever think that. That's terrible. We'd do anything for him without question. I traveled all over the country with this man for our conventions and concert tour work. It really felt like we were living the life in the fast lane. Maybe he was, but no one else was. He told us he built his entertainment company with funds from his MLM business. Lies. Ran right into that last part. So we were all eager to do what he said. I mean, this man put on multi-million-dollar tours, wore nothing but designer clothes. And he said he was able to get to that level using the MLM, and he was only like 34, so why wouldn't we believe him? All the nights where I had no food and barely a place to live should have been enough to be a wake-up call, or how I flunked out of my college due to the extreme stress I was under, or so many other factors. But I kept pushing. He told me I had to go through these struggles and that it would be okay in a couple of years because I'd be like him. Although he had my best interest at heart, so I can't read. I thought he had my best interests at heart, so I kept fighting through the pain and the tears. Things got really dark at one point, and I went into a downward spiral along with several other members of our team. Some of us are still friends, and we struggled to really talk about what happened once things got dark because it triggers an extreme anxiety in all of us. Even with what I've typed so far, I feel a lump in my throat. I feel the possibility of an anxiety attack coming on. I need to take a break so I can get my thoughts in order to write more coherent, organized update. Oh my gosh. This is just an intro, guys. I cannot imagine the brainwashing, the guilt tripping, the gaslighting, everything. Oh my Lord, I can't imagine what you guys would have went through or anything like that. And I am so sorry. And trigger warning, I'm going to read this here. So if anybody is sensitive to anything to do with drug use, suicide, sex, that kind of thing, don't listen. Skip ahead a little bit. The update will include prostitution, drug use, almost dying, and more wonderful things that myself and others experienced while trying to make it in the MLM. It kind of combines the dark sides of entertainment industry and the dark sides of MLMs into one horror-inducing package. Anyways, wow. I'm at a loss because that is horrible. Like, nobody should have to go through that. Nobody should have to feel that way. Nobody should have had to went through something that was a business deal or a job or whatever, and it has caused them this